Hello everybody, this is Gregory with how I lost over 100 pounds and have kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and maintenance. Today we're going to talk about not deluding yourself and knowing if you are fat, that yes, you in fact are fat. Now before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, especially from the psychological point of view, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also check out my website, Naturopathic Earth, which has tons of recipes and articles that might be useful to you. Check out my 2 books, my podcast, The Awakened Man, and lastly, if you appreciate my content, there is a link for PayPal. All right, so this is one of those episodes where I don't mean to be cruel, but I know a lot of guys, and just either interacting from work or just through other outlets, of guys that are overweight but don't think they're overweight. And I understand how this happens. In my 30-year weight loss, there were 3 times where I did gain weight, and I talk about it in the Reflections of a Weight Loss Warrior series. And like how Jesus fell 3 times on the way of the cross. I had 3 weight gains, probably 20 pounds each time. One was when I moved to Alaska when I was about 24. The other one was when my father died, and I was about 31, 32, and then the other one was during COVID. And I talk about how it's really easy to be in denial when you are gaining weight, right? Well, my clothes are getting older, and you dry your clothes enough, they're gonna shrink. And unless you're weighing yourself or really looking in yourself in the mirror, or you have someone who's like an accountability partner, we do have an episode on the importance of that. Unless you have an accountability partner, somebody that's being real with you, like, hey, you're gaining weight. And then, hopefully they say it in a charitable way, but hey, you're gaining weight. You might not know, it might just creep up. Kind of like ghetto creep, the term that they use, where your neighborhood used to be safe, and then you have Section 9 housing move in, and just the neighborhood changes, and you get ghetto creep, and next thing you know, your real estate values for your house are dropping because you don't live in a good neighborhood because of the surrounding neighborhood. Or mission creep, which is a military term too. So it can happen. So I think it's important. I'll talk to guys, and there's other stuff that I do aside from this channel, and I'll ask them, how much do you weigh, what's your height? And they'll be like, yeah, I'm 5'9" and weigh 230. I'm like, that is overweight. Well, it's mostly muscle. It's like, well, it could be mostly muscle, but if you're 5'9" and 230, you're likely overweight. Now, I've talked about how the BMI is not a very accurate indicator of your health, because it doesn't separate muscle from fat. That being said, at least it gives you a guideline. And unless you're an NBA athlete, which most of us are not, if you're overweight. Now, again, we can deny and be like, oh, the BMI's wrong because I'm lifting, and look at, they'll have the pictures of themselves from here up, and look at me here. But no, you got a gut. And we've talked about this. It's important to acknowledge if you're overweight, and then lose the gut, do the cardio. And then as you're losing the cardio, then you can rebuild the muscle. But it's okay, because I know a lot of guys are weightlifting obsessed, and so they just lift and lift and lift and lift and lift and lift, and they're eating all the chicken breasts and all the protein, and they don't want to see, or they can't see, that they have a gut, they have a beer belly with whatever you would love handles. So no, guys, lose the weight, do the cardio, and then rebuild your body the right way. And I mentioned before, the BMI is not a good indicator. A better indicator is get your height divided by the number 2, and then your waist should be below that. So if you're 5'9", that is, that's 69 inches, divide that in half, that's 34. So your waist needs to be 33 and a half or lower. And if it's not that, you're overweight. So we need to have objective indicators for obesity. So it is very easy to be in denial that you are overweight, and I've gone through it in my lifetime as well. But you can't start the weight loss and weight maintenance journey unless you're realistic and understand that you are overweight. So that is one of the first steps, is not to have that cognitive dissonance, and to realize that yes, you are overweight. And so if it takes an accountability partner, which I think helps, if it's a loved one, if it's you realizing you shouldn't get new clothes. We have an episode on should you get the next size of clothes when you start getting weight, and the answer to that is no, I don't think you should, because then you start sliding back. We have an episode, you shouldn't be having cheat days if you're overweight, and other things like that. It's important to be realistic and to have an accurate indicator of how you look, because if not, you can blink, and next thing you know, you're 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pounds overweight. And the human mind is amazing. We can be steeped in so much cognitive dissonance and denial the next thing you know, you're 50 pounds heavier, and it's going to be even harder for you now to lose the weight. So take a good look in the mirror, have people around you, and if you are overweight, there's no shame in that. The first step is to start losing the weight. And you can't do that unless you have an honest admission of what your body looks like right now. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.